Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Services Commissioner Jackie Bray. And please welcome the 57th Governor of the State of New York, Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good morning, good morning. This is a place I feel right at home. You do not know this about me, but for 30 years ago this year, I was elected to my town board. We had 10 volunteer fire companies in my town. Every one of them had an installation dinner every year. I was an elected official for 14 years. Guess how many dinners I went to? My husband loved when January rolled around because he knew he would get a nice meal on a Saturday night, and it was not from our home. So I've been part of this community for such a long time and have been so impressed and so proud of all of you who stand up and are willing to go through the rigors of training and all the times you have to come down here when you want to be home watching the football game or going to your child's soccer match or maybe even having a good meal at home. And you are so dedicated, so every chance I get to come out and thank the members of our volunteer fire companies, I will show up. So I want to give a round of applause to all of you. I want to thank someone who's so embedded in our fire services throughout the state of New York, Commissioner Jackie Bray, head of Homeland Security and Emergency Services. You would not believe the scale of effort that she has to bring to this, whether it's our cataclysmic storms we've been dealing with, the flooding, the tornadoes we've had. We've had so many weather challenges across the state of New York, but also watching for threats, making sure that we protect election security, particularly, making sure that our institutions and our services and our counties are protected from cyber threats. So it is extraordinary what she does. I want you to give her a round of applause. She is indispensable to us, Commissioner Jackie Bray. And I can tell from your applause you appreciate your senator. You should. And Senator Michelle Hinchi has just risen up so quickly to being one of the most admired members of our Senate. She is such a strong voice for all of you in our state capitol. You need to know that. You need to know that. She has all of us on speed dial when she wants something for her district. And this was important because she, and I'll talk about this in a couple minutes, but she has been a real champion of all of you. Let's give her a round of applause as well. Someone who needs no introduction in Greene County is former FASD president and county commissioner, fire coordinator, John Farrell. And John, thank you for not just your work, and our paths overlapped often when you're in your former position as the statewide representative, but also for inspiring the next generation of young people to want to be involved. And you were telling me about your 3 grandchildren who are joining the ranks and are so excited about the possibility of stepping into Grandpa's shoes here and doing what all of you have done. So that's what I've seen throughout the state. It's a generational passion. And so when I see 1, 2, 3 generations all together at the events, it feels so American to me. It feels so patriotic to me that people will step up and go through, as I said, so much effort and sacrifice to protect fellow citizens, whether they're neighbors they know or strangers they'll never meet, but hopefully we'll get that thank you when they've done something extraordinary. So to John, thank you for your lifetime of service to this county, but also to the state of New York. Let's give him a round of applause as well. We have our Assembly member, Chris Tagg, is here as well. I want to thank him for his support in the Assembly and all the representation he does for his incredible work. Let's give him a round of applause as well. Chris Tagg is here. Don't give me any applause when an event like this, because this is all about you. This is my recognition that firefighters do not get the credit they deserve every single day, and the risk that you're willing to take, we don't appreciate until we're the ones in crisis. Like the time my little girl was hit by a car when I was in a town board meeting, and she was fine, but it was my local first responders who let me know that she was going to be okay, and they gave them the compassion as if they would their own daughter. That is real. You do not know the effect it has on me all these years later, that heart full of gratitude. Or something happens, there's a kitchen fire, and it starts to get out of control, and someone is just paralyzed, a senior citizen not sure what to do. Or the weather events, as I mentioned, the destruction of homes and livelihoods around our state, particularly in the Hudson Valley and the Capital Region, is absolutely unprecedented. And we just really have to steel ourselves for that reality that is the new normal, but it doesn't make it any better for that person whose kitchen is absolutely flooded and they may have to rebuild, and the precious pictures of babies and the wedding pictures are sitting in a puddle because Mother Nature destroyed everything they knew. It is hard, and it's hard for all of you as human beings to see that. And that's something I don't think we talk about enough, that you're exposed to sometimes humanity at its time of greatest crisis, but also the depths of despair. And it has an effect on you when you go home at the end of the day. It truly must. Whether you're first responders, firefighters, police officers, it takes a mental toll on all of you. And I think it's time we just start acknowledging that as well and finding how we can have more conversations, because I know you're all tough. You wouldn't be sitting there if you weren't tough guys and tough women who are willing to withstand the rigors that it takes to be sitting in your shoes, but you do it. And you don't talk about it. But just know that I understand that there's sometimes images that you see, the cries for help, the experience of fellow human beings that can also have an effect on you as well. And I want to make sure we continue the conversations. We've done this for law enforcement. I do believe that we need to be talking about our fire services as well. But all I know is when the bell goes off, you're the ones who jump up and answer it. Put yourselves in harm's way without giving it a second thought. And especially in a rural community like this, the car that goes off the road late at night, there's not a lot of lights. I represent some of the most rural parts of our entire state, went to a lot of their fire companies as well. I know what it's like. It's scary in the dark. And a mom with a little one in the back seat who went off the road or hit a patch of ice and not sure what's going to happen, and you knock on the door and you open it up and you don't understand the effect that has. It's like you do so much. You're truly the backbone of our communities. And I will say this. I know you don't like the word hero. None of you want to be called a hero because you have such humility. You know what you're doing and you know why you're doing it. And I just want to continue doing my voice, my platform, my position to always elevate you and your needs. And whether it's physical needs of facilities, whether it's support for training, just to lift the burden off of you and also increase the ranks. Whether, as John and I were talking about, getting programs for 14-year-olds and up. Those are I can't tell you how many members who I know across the state who started in those EAGLE programs. They're trying to get young people feeling that they have a responsibility to more than just themselves. You grab a teenager and teach them what they need to know to be part of a family. It is a firefighting family. I know this. These bonds are tight. They go on for generations. But let a young person see the power of something outside themselves. And that's how we raise more responsible adults. So I think we should do everything we can to encourage more people to take advantage of these opportunities. Now here, this fire company is 136 years old. That's a lot of generations that have come and gone. But right now I'm focused on the next one. I want young people to feel that sense of social responsibility and willingness to step up like all of you did. And I want to also, again, I mentioned Senator Hinchi. She has been indispensable in our effort to support firefighters and everything they need. She introduced 2 bills to improve emergency care and support our EMS workers statewide, but especially in underserved communities. And that is often our rural communities, rural districts. And I was really proud to sign them into law just last month. Again, thank you, Senator Hinchi. They allow Medicaid to reimburse EMS workers for the care they provide. Think about that. And expand the possibilities for administration of life-saving blood transfusions. You've been extraordinary. I share your deep commitment to making sure we support all the firefighters, and I will continue working with you to achieve these objectives. Let's give her one more round of applause. I mentioned recruitment briefly, and I want to get back to that. We have 1,600 fully volunteer fire departments in the state of New York. 91,000 firefighters, which is extraordinary. But there's a lot of responsibility we have to you as well. And as I mentioned, I've signed legislation to help first responders with mental health challenges. I also want to work with families who've lost a loved one because of cancer contracted on the job. We're focusing on that as well. And making sure that becoming a firefighter is not a financial burden for you. It should not be on your shoulders, because we're the beneficiaries of your time and your talents. And so why should you have to pay to do something unpaid that is in our interest? So we've started to invest money. $10 million for a volunteer firefighter stipend program to help offset the cost of training. And we've already had over 100 trainees from across 50 fire departments. I want to expand this. This fall, we've been meeting with more fire companies to talk about how we can invest even more so, but there's more to do. And it's all about equipment, making sure you have the most up-to-date equipment, that it's not, from the 1970s like a lot of my fire companies had. It's very expensive to buy the new trucks. I know that for sure because I was there. My town was always trying to financially support them. But to help lift that financial burden, I'm proud to announce $25 million in investments from our new volunteer fire infrastructure and response equipment, which very nicely stands for VFire. It's our new grant program, and this will support firefighters all across the state, large communities and small, and support facility improvements and help you purchase that life-saving essential equipment that is wildly expensive, that is too hard for individual companies to do. So of the $25 million, there are a number of companies represented here who are beneficiaries of this, but we're here at Leeds Hose Company, #1, because you'll be receiving $1 million to renovate this station. This will help fund a new addition to make your building fully ADA compliant, #1. I think that's important. Also, you have to replace your existing radio and siren tower. Again, no one knows how much I know about this because I was always asked, we need a new pumper truck, we need this truck, we need this. And it's so expensive, but if you don't have it, you're jeopardizing people's lives, and that's why I know why it's important to make these investments in all of you and what you're doing here today. So in all, we supported fire departments from 35 counties across the state, and we are fully committed to funding this again in the future. We just started. No one has done this before, and I know that when we come back for the ribbon cutting here in Greene County and the pride that everyone feels, I just want to tell you that we're going to keep this up because firefighters should not have to wait for updated equipment, new PPE, fresh spaces for training programs, learning, and for renovated spaces. You deserve better than that. You need to have the resources to match the caliber of the impact that you have in our communities. So that's why I think you deserve more. I want to thank you for all you do here, and I want to thank every one of you for, especially those part of the generations. I also want to thank the Women's Auxiliary. Anyone from Women's Auxiliary here today? Thank you. Yes, there you are. There you are, ladies. I have worked in many kitchens with all of you across the state where I come from. I'm the one who's had to sometimes make the pancakes in the kitchen, pancake breakfast, put together the chicken barbecue dinners, the spaghetti dinners. So I know you are the heart and soul of these organizations. So again, another round of applause for the Women's Auxiliary. Thank you. So you heard the good news. We'll be presenting a very large fake check soon, but it's got real money behind it. I will guarantee that. But again, please know how grateful I am to every single one of you for what you do. You are extraordinary people. You don't hear that enough. And to your families are the ones that are sitting there having to pick up the kids or take them to the soccer game or have that dinner alone, trick-or-treating, everything that has to happen. Please convey to your families when you get home how grateful I am for them as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much for all you do for us, our volunteer firefighters. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And let me bring up the one and only Commissioner Jackie Bray.
Good morning. Oh, y'all can do better than that. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. I've been commissioner of the Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for about 3 years, and I didn't know a whole lot about the fire service before I became commissioner, unlike our governor, who has known so much about the volunteer fire service for so long. But one thing Governor Hochul always tells us is that we need to go out in communities and listen and really be willing to learn from people that are on the ground. That's the type of leader she is. And I'm so glad to be here in Leeds and back in Greene County, because one of the first places I came to understand the volunteer fire service with Senator Hinchi was Greene County, and with Commissioner Frell, to hear from all the volunteer chiefs in this county what you needed. And I remember sitting there that night. We spent hours. I don't know, it was like a long night. We spent hours talking about what you needed, and we talked about recruitment and retention. And so I went back and I said, Governor, we've got to start paying our volunteer fire service for training, because that'll help their recruitment. And she said, yes, let's do that. And so now, when you take BFO, when you take IFO, when you take Fire Officer 1, we're writing you checks, and that's because of our governor. And we talked about how expensive it can be to maintain your firehouses, to maintain your equipment, how much these trucks behind us cost. And we went back, and when Senator Hinchi said, I think there should be a grant program for volunteer firehouses, the governor said, yes, let's make it $25 million. And this year, and I think you heard it, she said, and let's do it again, let's do it every year, because this is a support that she's committed to providing for the service. And you've said that you're worried about the health risks and the cancer risks that we're seeing, not only in New York City, not only because of 9/11 illness, but also because all of the materials in our homes are burning hotter, and they're burning faster, and they're more dangerous to all of you. And so we went back to the governor and we said, we've got a program to help people learn how to decontaminate their gear before they take it home. And she said, yes, of course, and roll it out as far and wide as you can to as many fire companies as you can. This is a governor who understands your needs and who tells those of us in jobs like mine to listen to you. And Greene County and Senator Hinchi and Commissioner Frell are the leaders that helped us figure out what you need so that we could deliver it. There's someone else here I want to give a shout out, our state fire administrator, Jim Cable, who's just been a phenomenal leader in the state and a phenomenal voice for all of you. Hi, Jim, nice to see you. Jean Perry is here, who is the current president of FASNY, and who we have robust conversations about where the volunteer fire service is headed and what else and what more you all need. But today is about supporting all of you. There are 88 fire departments across the state that are receiving checks from the state today, and I'm really excited because for years to come, there will be dozens and dozens and hundreds more of the needs that we can meet. Thank you so much, and with that, I'm going to bring up Senator Hinchi.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is a great day in Greene County. Yes, this is a great day in Greene County. And listen, I have the privilege of representing 4 counties, 56 towns, just over 2,500 square miles, and over 100 volunteer fire departments. And we travel our district all over the place. And one of the loudest things that I have heard from the very beginning is that we need to better support our volunteer departments and the communities that invest in themselves and in each other to make sure that we can continue to be thriving, strong, robust rural communities in small counties like Greene. And the way you do that is through partnership. It's the way these firehouses work too. You know, you have to depend on the person next to you. That's how we work in government. And it can be really difficult to make a new program. As you can imagine, sometimes it's difficult to find the dollars to make a new program, to fight for why something is new. And we built a robust coalition throughout the legislature, both in the Senate and the Assembly. Assemblymember Anna Kellis from out in Ithaca, the Ithaca area, was a strong vocal advocate. Assemblymember Billy Jones from the North Country was a strong advocate. And our own Assemblymember Tague was a huge advocate for this program. And so I want to thank you for your help in making sure that this was a bipartisan effort, because it should be. Supporting our first responders is not a partisan issue. It's a bipartisan issue. It's a nonpartisan issue. No one's checking at the doors what your registration is when someone calls for help or calls 911. We're not checking registration when we work to help people. And so ensuring that our communities have the resources they need is critical. And so, Assemblyman Tague, I want to thank you for your partnership in this work too, because we were able to build that coalition at the legislature, and we had an incredible governor who heard it immediately, and we didn't have to fight as hard as we kind of anticipated we may have to fight for this program. It wasn't as hard as we thought it would be, and we were able to get $25 million for a brand new volunteer fire capital program. And the intention was always to make it year over year. And so to hear that commitment now, we know there's more need, but we know that there's work on the horizon and there's support on the horizon, and that's really exciting. And so I want to thank to all my partners, thank you for working with us. There is no, I feel, no more important aspect of this job than to help deliver for the communities that we live in and to make sure that you have the supports that you need. And so it's my honor to help deliver that. It's my honor to work with our partners and bring folks together and elevate the issues we have across Greene County. And someone who has been a true partner to us in that, whether it was helping convene a fire chiefs meeting with the brand new Commissioner Bray to come talk about rural fire services and rural EMS services, or someone that I've turned to say, we're looking at legislation, what can we do, what makes sense, what are the issues on the ground. Someone who has been a tremendous advocate for you and a great partner to me is our Director of Emergency Services of Greene County and our fire coordinator, John Frell, who I would like to bring up.
Good morning. Boy, what a day for Greene County and the Leeds Fire Department and all the other fire companies. First, I just want to Governor Hochul and Commissioner Bray, State Fire Administrator Jim Cable and Deputy Bill Davis, I'd just like to say welcome to Greene County and thank you for all that you do for all of us in time of need and also in the training program. At this time, I'd like to recognize our state senator, Michelle Hinchi, for starting this program and bringing it to the floor. It's an outstanding program, and I also would like our Assembly, Chris Tague, for following through and working with her to make sure it got approved. And as I look across the room, there's a lot of elected officials. I just want to say generically, welcome to Leeds Hose Company in Greene County. As Greene County Fire Coordinator and a member of the New York State Fire Coordinators Association, I am pleased to participate in the New York V-Fire Grant announcement. This initiative is a testament to the state's commitment to supporting those who selfishly serve to protect our communities. Volunteer fire departments are a backbone of the emergency response in many of our towns and rural areas, just like Greene County. They are made up of individuals who dedicated their time and energy, often at great personal sacrifices. The V-Fire grant aims to strengthen these departments by providing financial assistance that will enhance the capabilities and ensure that they are equipped to respond effectively in time of emergencies. These grant structures to support the departments are made up of 100% volunteers. By targeting the volunteer department specifically, we ensure the funding goes directly to those who need it most. This target supports alleviates some of the financial burden these departments often experience allowing them to redirect their limited resources toward essential infrastructure and life-saving equipment. This also relieves the local tax burden. Firefighters in an essential service, and it's critical that we find sustainable ways to support. By investing in volunteer departments, we reduce the financial strain on the community, like leads, while still ensuring what we maintain a robust fire response capability. New York State V-Fire grant represents not just a financial commitment, but a more profound recognition of the invaluable role that volunteer firefighters play in our communities. With the support of everyone here today, local fire departments will be able to continue their job and take care of the taxpayers, which they are well deserved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes our speaking program. Please welcome back up Governor Hochul for a check presentation to Leeds Hose Company Number 1 and members of the company. Please come up. All right, everyone look at Don for this one, right here. Thank you. This concludes our program. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, please, members of FASNY, you will be the next photo.